The battle's on. On one side, we've got India and China, and on the other side, the really big guy, Potash Saskatchewan, the dominant potash fertilizer company in the world. Here's the battle. That once upon a time, way back in 2009, potash, a crucial fertilizer, sold for about $800 a metric ton. Right now, the price is set in negotiations between China and India, the two of the biggest customers, and the potash companies. Right now, China and India are kind of holding out. They're saying, well, we don't want to pay the $470 a ton that potash used to be going at. We think it ought to be about $430. They're looking for about an 8% or so lowering of the price. Potash and the other potash makers have said, well, we'd really rather cut capacity. If you guys don't want to buy it, fine, but we're not going to sell you at that price. Potash, in fact, went so far as to close or reduce the schedules production schedules at 4 mines back in October and November to reduce the production, reduce the amount of potash on the market. They're betting on their side that farmers in India and China are seeing a reduction in crop yields, that they really have to put these fertilizers into their soil to get better crops, and that they're betting that these farmers and China and India itself aren't willing to sort of do without. On the other hand, China and India are basically saying, well, if we don't buy, who's going to buy out there? We're the biggest consumers in the world. We can stay out of the market for another year. They probably can't. They've been pulling down on reserves, using up stockpiles as a way to put pressure on the potash makers and to reduce buying in the market. But those stockpiles are getting kind of low. So I think we're looking at a situation where one side or the other is probably going to blink fairly soon, and we're probably going to get a price that's not as low as China and India want, probably closer to what the potash companies want, but this is a huge uncertainty at a time when there's vast capacity in the industry, and it also really has, bad suggestions for the future, because there's a lot of potash capacity in the world, a lot of potash mines coming on stream in 2014, 2015. So the ability of the potash producers to hold the line on potash capacity, potash prices, seems to be falling, and I think that's part of the China-India game for the slightly longer term. So I like fertilizer stocks for the long term. I don't particularly like potash fertilizers right now. I like fertilizers made out of natural gas because gas prices are so low. So look for companies like maybe Yara International, YARIY in the United States, or CF Industries, CF, strangely enough, is the symbol, who are selling that kind of fertilizer. And for the moment, at least, I'd try to hold back on my exposure to the potash makers. This is Jim Jubak for Jubak Asset Management Video.